When the world ended. I wasn't scared of the monsters. I was scared of what we became after. They said we'd rebuild, start again. But when I lost my brother, I learned the truth. Survival isn't living, it's just not dying yet. Ashes of Tomorrow, Part 1, The Quiet Road. The wind carried the smell of smoke long before we saw it. Mira tightened her grip on the steering wheel, squinting through the cracked windshield as the horizon shimmered orange. Somewhere ahead, another town was burning. Another piece of the world collapsing in silence. In the passenger seat, Liam sat with his knees pulled to his chest, eyes hidden beneath a torn hoodie. He couldn't have been older than 12, but the way he watched the world, wary, guarded, old, made him seem much older. Too old for the world he'd inherited. "You smell that?" she asked quietly. He nodded, not looking at her. "Yeah. Fire." Mira pressed her lips together. "Means we don't stop there." They hadn't stopped anywhere in days. Gasoline was low. Food was lower. But fire meant people, and people, these days, meant trouble. She checked the map again. A torn paper, stained and fading, the ink smeared from rain and blood. The last mark she'd made was 3 days ago, safe route north, possible colony past the ridge. Possible. Not certain. Nothing was certain anymore. They drove until the sky bled purple, then parked beneath an overpass. The highway was a graveyard of rust and vines, nature reclaiming what the world had abandoned. Liam climbed out first, checking the area like Mira had taught him: scan the shadows, listen before you move, trust your gut. He did it better than most grown men she'd known before everything fell apart. When he finally gave a nod, Mira followed, rifle slung over her shoulder. "Same routine," she said. "I know," he muttered. "I'll get the blankets." He wasn't her son. But sometimes, when he said things like that, she almost forgot. They set up camp beneath the bridge, one small fire, barely a flicker, just enough for warmth. Mira handed him a dented can of beans, and he ate silently. The boy rarely spoke unless she asked him to. After a while, he said, "Do you think it's real?" She looked up. "What?" "The colony. The one on the ridge." Mira paused, watching the flames dance. "I think it has to be," she said finally. "Otherwise, what are we even doing?" He nodded slowly, and for a second, she thought she saw something like hope in his eyes. But it vanished as quickly as it came. That night, she dreamed again. The hospital. The screaming. The walls covered in blood. Her best friend, Eva, clutching her newborn, begging Mira to run. "Please, promise me, if I don't make it, take him. Don't let them have him." Then the glass shattered, and everything went white. Mira woke with a gasp. Sweat clung to her face. For a second, she didn't know where she was, only that the world was still broken, and she was still breathing. Liam was awake too, staring out at the highway, the fire dying beside him. "Bad dream?" he asked. "Yeah," she said softly. "You?" He didn't answer. Just reached for his backpack and handed her a folded piece of paper. A drawing, rough, done with charcoal. 2 stick figures holding hands under a blue sky. A house. A sun. Something that looked almost like peace. "It's us," he said. Myra's throat tightened. "It's beautiful, kid." He shrugged. "I just want to remember what normal looked like." Morning came cold and gray. They packed quickly, years of habit making every motion silent, efficient. The car groaned as Mira turned the key, but it still started. The old engine's rumble was oddly comforting, like the heartbeat of something that refused to die. They were back on the road when they saw it. A car flipped over near the edge of the highway. Smoke rose from the hood. Beside it, movement. Mira slowed down instantly. "Stay in the car," she said, already reaching for the rifle. "Mira. Stay. Lock the doors." She stepped out, boots crunching glass. The wind carried the faint sound of coughing. Someone was alive. A man lay pinned beneath the wreck, his leg crushed under twisted metal. His eyes darted to her as she approached. "Please," he gasped. "Help me." She aimed the rifle without thinking. "Who else is with you?" "And no one. Please. I swear." Mira hesitated. The man's clothes were filthy, but not in the way of a scavenger. His hands trembled like someone who hadn't eaten in days. Maybe he was just a survivor. Then she saw it, a mark burned into his wrist. A crude symbol, carved deep, the same mark she'd seen on raiders last winter. Her stomach turned cold. She stepped back, lowering the rifle slightly. "You're one of them." His eyes widened. "No. I left them. Please, I didn't want." A gunshot split the air. Mira dropped, instinct taking over. The bullet hit the car behind her, shattering the glass. From the tree line, voices shouted, angry, closing in. "Shit." She sprinted back to the vehicle, heart pounding. "Liam. Down." He didn't hesitate. As soon as she slammed the door, he ducked, hands over his head. Mira threw the car into reverse, tires screeching. More shots followed, one hit the rear window, another tore through the mirror. "Who are they?" Liam shouted. "Doesn't matter," she yelled back. "Hold on." The car swerved through the debris, bumping over the corpses of old cars and cracked asphalt. The raiders' truck appeared behind them, 3 men in masks, guns flashing in the dawn light. Mira gritted her teeth and slammed the pedal to the floor. The old engine screamed. "Come on, girl," she whispered to the car. "Don't die on me now." They burst out of the highway ruins and onto open road. The truck was still following, closing the gap. Mira spotted a narrow turn ahead, a side road half hidden by overgrowth. Without thinking, she jerked the wheel. The car slid, tires screeching, metal scraping as they plunged down the slope. Mud and dust exploded around them. The world spun, then silence. The engine sputtered. "Died." Liam groaned beside her. "Mira?" "I'm okay," she said, voice shaking. "You?" "Yeah. I think so." They both looked up, through the windshield, the highway above was gone. No sound. No pursuit. They'd lost them. For now. Mira leaned back in the seat, breathing hard. Then she started laughing, not out of joy, but from sheer exhaustion and disbelief. Liam stared at her. "What's so funny?" "Nothing," she said, still catching her breath. "Just, we're not dead. That's something." He smiled faintly. For the first time in days. They found an old cabin nearby, half collapsed but still standing. Inside, it smelled of dust and rot, but it was shelter. As they lit a small lantern, Mira noticed a set of photos pinned to the wall. A family once lived here. A man, woman, 2 children. All smiling, all gone. Liam traced one photo with his finger. "Do you think they made it?" Mira swallowed. "I hope so." He turned to her. "You ever think we will?" She hesitated, then said, "I think we already have." Outside, the wind howled through the broken trees. Somewhere far away, thunder rolled, or maybe it wasn't thunder. The world was still burning, still bleeding, still trying to forget what it once was. But in that moment, 2 survivors in a forgotten cabin, sharing a flicker of warmth in a dying world, it almost felt like hope. And sometimes, hope was enough. The rain started before dawn. Cold, relentless, and heavy, like the sky was trying to wash the world clean but didn't know where to start. Mira sat by the cracked window, rifle across her lap, watching droplets carve paths down the glass. Liam was still asleep on the floor beside the dying fire, curled up under a moth-eaten blanket. His breathing was steady, too steady. He slept like someone who wasn't afraid anymore. That bothered her. Mira hadn't slept much. Every creak in the cabin made her flinch. Every gust of wind sounded like footsteps. The raiders wouldn't stop after one chase, they'd keep hunting. And the man under the car, his eyes still haunted her. I left them. Yeah, right. Nobody ever just left. By noon, the rain eased up. They packed their things and stepped back into the gray daylight. The air smelled of wet earth and rust. Liam walked ahead, quiet as always, scanning the tree line with the same alertness she'd taught him. But there was something off, a stiffness in his movements, a distance in his eyes. "You okay, kid?" she asked. He nodded without turning. "Just tired." Mira frowned. "Don't lie to me." That made him stop. For a second, she thought he'd snap back, but he just sighed. "I keep hearing them," he said softly. "The people we left behind. The ones that were chasing us." "You're imagining it." "Maybe," he said. "But, what if they weren't after you?" That hit her like a slap. "What?" He looked up at her, eyes dark and wet with rain. "What if they were after me?" Myra's grip tightened on the rifle. "Why would they be after you?" He hesitated, just for a second, but long enough. "I told you, Mira. I don't remember much before you found me." "Yeah," she said slowly. "You told me that. But memory loss doesn't make raiders track someone across half a state." He flinched. His silence said more than words could. Mira stepped closer. "What aren't you telling me?" Liam looked down at the mud, voice barely a whisper. "I knew them. Before. They called themselves the Dawn. They said they were trying to rebuild things, new world, new rules. My mom was with them." Myra's jaw tightened. "Your mom?" He nodded. She helped them find people. Scientists, engineers, soldiers. They said they needed them to make something better. But when I started asking questions, she got scared. We ran. And then what? He swallowed hard. They caught her. I hid. That's when you found me. The wind howled through the forest. Mira felt the world tilt slightly, like the ground beneath her had shifted. So those men, they weren't just scavengers. Liam shook his head. No. They're looking for something. They said it was inside me. Some kind of immunity. Or code. I don't know. Mira stared at him. Immunity? From what? The sickness, he whispered. The one that killed everything. The silence that followed was deafening. The sickness had started years ago, a bioengineered strain, a failed experiment that wiped out half the population. Most survivors either mutated or went insane. The rest learned to live with masks, filters, and fear. But if Liam was immune, her pulse quickened. It was impossible. But so was the fact that he'd never once coughed around infected zones. Never even flinched when others got sick. You knew, she said quietly. All this time, you knew. He looked at her, and for the first time, she saw the fear in his eyes. I didn't want you to leave me. They didn't speak for hours after that.